everyone, my name is Jody and welcome to the IAmMore Project. I'm super excited to finally show you guys what I've been working on for the last couple months. I have 3 beautiful girls coming in today to share their self-love journey with you guys. I wanted to start the project because over the last couple years, through my experiences of finding confidence and self-love for myself, I've found it through fitness, and I found it by finding something that I'm very passionate about and something that makes me feel good about myself and something that is helping me to develop every single day. And it doesn't have to be through fitness. I think what I'm stressing here is just find your passion, something that makes you feel alive, and that can be through friends, family, art, school, or whatever job you may have. Everyone's journey is going to be different, and it's okay, it's normal. You will see all these girls go through it, and that you're not alone, and these things can be improved on and worked on.
Okay, so I would say the thing that I struggled with most about myself is how much space I took up. Not that I took up a lot of space, physically, obviously, but I always had the idea in my head that I was a lot bigger than I was allowed to be. So yeah, I was always just worried that I was viewed as someone who was too big, when in reality that wasn't what I looked like at all. And looking back on pictures now is actually crazy to think that I was ever as small as I was, thinking in my head that I was 10 times larger than what I actually looked like, and it was just a really detrimental mind space to be in. And it took over a lot of my relationships, a lot of my self-confidence. Yeah.
One thing that I've always struggled with is being shy. And I remember being told when I was very young that I was shy, and so I kind of just took that identity and ran with it for most of my life, and it caused me to not stand up for myself or speak up about things that were like important to me, and I always hid away from making friends because I was shy, and so I just was very quiet, and I used it as an excuse for a really long time to not fully express myself.
I struggle with the fact that I think I'm too much. I feel too much, I have too much to say, I am too passionate about my feelings, too expressive.
It wasn't until I really started to question when and why I became labeled as shy that I was able to realize that I was in full control of how I reacted in situations, and that I didn't have to be this really insecure, shy person that I always identified as. And that's just a word that people labeled me as when I was very young. And it turns out that if I'm in the right situation, if I feel comfortable, if I'm talking about things I'm really passionate about, if I'm around people that I really vibe with, that I can be the complete opposite of shy. I can be very energetic and very outgoing, and it just really depends on who I'm with and who I'm around.
Oh boy, that's a big one. This has affected me as a person in a lot of ways. Many, many different ways. I think the biggest thing was the relationships that I formed with other people. They never felt genuine because I wasn't comfortable enough with myself to be in them in the first place. I looked to a lot of people as something I should be instead of just accepting myself where I was at. And it took a lot of happiness and a lot of confidence and a lot of just belief in myself.
Something that has helped me overcome this insecurity of mine is if my friend or a loved one needs advice, or they are having a difficult time, I have a lot to say. So I can sit and talk with someone for a very long time and kind of help them through things and put it into perspective in maybe ways they wouldn't be able to. And just knowing that what I have to say will hopefully positively affect someone else in the world. So just to never quiet myself too much so that I won't be able to help people, because that's what I want to do in my life, is make a positive influence with how other people feel about themselves. So
the biggest thing for me was fitness. That came into my life in a lot of different ways as well, not just the gym. I grew up as a dancer, so a lot of my insecurities kind of stemmed from that as well, because it's such I guess a sport where you're supposed to be small, and I just felt like I wasn't. So that type of fitness never came into play for me. But once I found the gym, I found a love for being strong and a love for challenging myself every day. It also allowed me to eat normally as a person and know that that's going to be there to fuel my body. Fitness as well, mentally, that's a huge thing. You got to exercise your brain just as much as you exercise all of your muscles. So looking into different things like meditation, journaling has been a really big one. Reading books, I love reading. One of the books that helped me the most is called It's All Absolutely Fine. And it's just a bunch of like comics and just such a personal story that I always refer back to. One of the quotes in there is that you can't hate yourself into a better place. And that is probably the thing that helped me the most.
If I could tell my younger self one thing, it would be that all of the things that you were taught to appreciate about other people or about yourself, like their hair or their clothes or their body, aren't the only things that you can learn to appreciate yourself for. And you're going to discover as you grow up that there are a lot of qualities about yourself that you're going to learn to love, that bring you a lot of joy, like your passions or your kindness or your ability to listen to people or your empathy.
Tell my younger self one thing, it would be don't take yourself so seriously. That's something I tell myself every day, because I found that I was just so concerned with like what I looked like all the time. It's not that serious. It's really not. Nobody will ever remember if I was 300 pounds or if I was 60 pounds when they're looking back on memories of me. They're gonna remember my personality, my laugh, how I made them feel. And when you think about your appearance all the time, God, like you're taking yourself way too seriously. Nobody is that interested in the way that you look. It's only you, and it's all in your head.
Today when I look in the mirror, my self-talk is pretty non-existent, because I just don't really get hung up in really how I look that day anymore. I mean, I've just learned to appreciate myself for so many other qualities outside of how my body looks, because I know that on any given day I could be bloated, or I could have a few too many flyaway hairs, or maybe my mascara on one side didn't turn out that great. But I don't really dwell on it anymore, because I've just really learned to appreciate myself for more than how I look in any given day.
When I look in the mirror today, my self-talk has improved tenfold. It's actually crazy. When I look at myself today, I think you are beautiful, you are strong, you are open-minded, you are kind, you are funny, you are deserving, you are worthy. Like just all these scripts that I've changed over time. And a lot of it too, like I still look at myself negatively at times. Like you're only human, you can only do so much. And in those times though, I find that instead of dwelling on those negative thoughts, I think, okay, it's just who I am. You can look at it from an objective point of view. I now am able to switch those thoughts into something that is positive. And even if it's something that I don't necessarily 100% love about myself yet, I know that I'll get there. And I'll be damned if I don't get there.
I think it would be that you were made perfectly, and you were made this way for a reason. Like I mentioned earlier, you're so unique in your own ways, and the way you view the world is so different than anyone else. And the things you have to say and the things that you see, the way that you speak, it will always positively affect at least one person in one way. You know, you can't pour from an empty glass. So you have to be able to love yourself, and then that will translate to you being able to love the world and love other people.
Could share one piece of advice for anybody struggling to love themselves. It would be to explore all of the different qualities about yourself that you haven't really given yourself the permission to explore, like the things that you're passionate about, or what you do for other people. And there's so much that you can learn to love about yourself outside of the physical stuff.
If I could share one piece of advice with somebody who's struggling to love themselves, I guess it's what I told myself. Realistically, I don't think I'd ever give out advice that I wouldn't take myself. So the biggest one is that you can't hate yourself into a better place. You really can't. You have to start from love and from compassion, because if you start with hate, you're going to end up with hate too. If you start from a place of love and non-insecurity, you're going to be able to grow a lot more. It's hard, and it's a really hard mental switch to make, of course, because it's easy to look at yourself and see all the things that you dislike, because we are our biggest critics for sure. But at the same time, you know yourself best, and you are the only person who can decide how you feel about yourself. And it takes that realization to propel you forward further than you ever thought that you could go. The IAmMORE Project means to me that I have all the capability within myself to have a good day every day, have a confident day every day, have a happy day every day, rebuild relationships that have broken in the past because of how I felt about myself. I can create my own reality, and that is what IAmMORE means to me.
The IAmMore Project means to me that I am more than what I was taught to appreciate myself for. I'm more than just how my hair looks, or what my body shape is, or what my pant size is, or how big my boobs are. There's so many other things that I can learn to love about myself, and there's a lot of things that other women can learn to love about themselves too if they were to explore it.
This project means a great deal to me, because I think at some points in my life, or a lot of points in my life, I needed a video like this to come out, to hear how other girls or other guys are struggling with themselves in ways that I can probably relate to. But it's just helping people not feel alone. It's helping people feel like we are all in this together, and we can get through it together, and it'll all be okay.
I hope that these stories have inspired you guys and have helped to shed a light on something you may be experiencing or going through. I also want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for watching something that is so important to me. And the next time that you are feeling down, I want you guys to remember that you are more.